This light is one of the best things we've purchased in 2025, and today I'm going to tell you why. Oh, that's nice. Hi guys, I'm Ben. Welcome back to the Manto Collective YouTube channel, and today we are going to be talking about this, the Aputure 600D. The reason why we purchased this light at the start of 2025 was because we felt like we were maxing out the lighting that we already had. We'd sometimes have lights at 100% and we just felt like we weren't quite getting the results that we wanted. Another reason is that this light allows us to do completely different lighting setups to what we've previously been able to do, which has just completely upped our game in interviews and B-roll and shooting in big rooms and studios, kind of like this one. So why did we decide to upgrade our lighting setup? Well, we already have the 300D and the 120D. In fact, we're using both of them right now. The 300D is my key light and the 120D is throwing a spotlight just behind me. And they're both great setups. But when it came to things like shooting outside, shooting in larger rooms, and more technical lighting setups, we just felt like we weren't getting the power that we really needed. I'm gonna just do a quick piece on book lights and then we can maybe insert them. The biggest reason why we got a more powerful light is that it allows us to do softer lighting setups. Things like book lights, where you're projecting this light at a reflective surface and then bouncing that light back through a diffusion layer, allows for just a huge soft source of light. So for things like interviews or studio setups, it can feel like a window is coming through with really nice daylight, when in actual fact it's just this projecting off of something quite bright. This is something that we haven't really been able to do up until now. And for the past year, we've been obsessed with it. Basically every shoot that we've gone on to do an interview, we're always trying to do a booklight of some sort, or shoot through huge layers of diffusion to really just get the most out of this light. And I think you'll agree, some of these results are pretty good. Okay, so what are the specs on this guy? Well, I'm not really a tech reviewer, but we can give you a whistle-stop tour. This is the Aputure Lightstorm 600D, coming in at 600 watts. At 3 meter distance, it can kick out up to 29,300 lux with the Fresnel modifier. But even without the Fresnel, you still get around 2,600 lux. To put that into perspective, a typical office light is around 300 to 500, so this thing is bright. It has an SSI D56 score of 72, and the Kelvin score is around 5600 plus or minus 200 Kelvin, so pretty dead on. If you want to find out more specifics about the light, you can go onto Aputure's website and dig into the details that way, or there'll be plenty more tech reviews on YouTube for things just like this. So the lamp head without modifiers comes in at 4.6 kilos, meaning that you can boom it out, hoist it to a ceiling, have it as overhead lighting, and you're not going to have to stress about overweighting your stands. You can adjust it by 1% increments, so it'll be extremely accurate, and you can dial in those fine tweak settings to whatever your subject needs. It's also Bowens mount, meaning that most attachments will work with it. You can have a huge range of modifiers. Aputure make loads themselves, but also there's plenty of aftermarket brands that do the same thing. In terms of pricing, this thing's going to set you back a little over £1,000, but there are some second-hand options on the market due to this thing being released for a couple of years now. And the 600D Pro, which is this thing's bigger brother, and basically the same light just with better weatherproofing, is another £800. So this thing actually is really affordable for what it actually does, and there's not many lights out there on the market that can do what this thing can do for a similar price point. So what do you actually get with the light? Well, you get the big case, which we're going to get onto later. You get the lamp itself, you get all the cables for the lamp, and then you get the ballast as well. This thing is quite chunky, but they're both sort of similar sizes, and in terms of how the case packs together, it's pretty neat and tidy. Okay, so on to our opinion, the likes and dislikes of the light itself. Main thing is its Bowens mount. This sounds daft and like everything should be Bowens mount, but it's worth checking before you purchase something because not everyone uses it. This allows you to be able to use an insane amount of modifiers, from Fresnels to softboxes to lanterns to spotlights. Pretty much everything that we use is Bowens mount, so it's crucial that all of our equipment is universal and we know exactly how to use it and what works with what when we're out on set. The next thing that I really love about this light is that you can use V-lock mounts on the ballast. So there's one on each side, meaning that you can run both at the same time, but the light actually only needs one to be able to run. The amount of time that you'll get out of one battery depends on what battery you've got, but for us, we tend to use a rule of thumb of if we can run the light about 50%, we'll get about an hour's worth of time out of the light. So this is really useful for cases when you don't have external power, like you're out in the sticks, or maybe you're shooting outdoors somewhere and you don't have a generator with you. It's also really useful for when you need a light that will move. So we sometimes have it on a C-stand with caster wheels, and if we're doing multiple shoots in multiple locations quite quickly, we can just roll it around without having to unplug it, find a new main source and plug it back in, or drag a really long extension cord with us, which is really helpful when out on set. Also included in the case is a ballast stand mount, which clips onto the back of the ballast and allows you to clamp it to pretty much any stand that you're going to be using this with, which is really nice as well. Another thing is that with Aputure, they all run off of the Sidus Link app, which is something that we don't actually use that much ourselves, but I can see its use case in certain scenarios. What this app does is it allows you to remotely control the lights through Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, basically meaning that you can adjust things on the go. It also allows you to set presets, so for things like a studio or a podcast when you need consistent lighting at every single episode, you can dial it in one day and then set a preset, and then the next time that you come into the studio you can go onto the app, turn all the lights on, and they'll be exactly the same as you left it last time. I can see a use case where if you have all Aputure lights, things like interview setups where you've got a lot of stands everywhere and you can't always get to the ballast to adjust the light, it'd be super easy to just get on the app and adjust it that way. Or things like self-shooting, where you can't exactly get up and change the lights whilst you're trying to be on the camera at the same time. You can just have a monitor set up and then have that app open and really dial in your light setups by yourself. So another thing which is really great about this light, and all Aputure lights in general, is that they all come in really good cases. Now this is huge, but it's huge for a reason. It's because it's full of all these really quite durable pads, and the light fits in here really, really nicely. It's also a roller case, meaning that when you're going to airports or you're taking it to shoots or whatever, you don't have to lug around this really heavy weight. It's something that you can just drag behind you super easy. And we've actually used these cases before without the lights. If we need to take certain stuff to certain sets, we'll take the lights out and just use the cases themselves. They're really that good. So they've got plastic strips on the bottom, and it's a hard shell case as well. So these things are pretty durable. We've been able to throw them in vans, drag them around sets and whatever, and it's no problem whatsoever. It's really nice knowing that when you've spent this much on a light, it comes with a case that will protect it really well. The one thing I might say is that the inputs for ballast are on the bottom, meaning that you can't have it placed flat on the floor whilst you're using it, which can sometimes be annoying if you don't always have time to clamp it to a stand or you need it for a different use case or whatever. This can hook round stuff and is super durable, but it's not the most secure thing to just be throwing it onto a stand, because if it falls or slips in any way, you're really going to damage those cable inputs on the bottom. Lights like our Godox, they have all the inputs into the top, which I think is a better option, but for whatever reason, Aputure haven't gone with that. It's one of those little things, but it's just worth noting. When you're buying a light like this, there's never really any one-size-fits-all option. However, this one does come pretty close. The only reason why we've not taken it on our shoot is because we maybe don't have enough space, or it's going to be overpowering the setup that we're actually looking for, or we just can't get enough diffusion in front of it to kind of get it to the right point that we need it to be at. But we have other lights in our arsenal for those kind of situations anyway. The truth is that at this price point, for what you get out of this light, there isn't that many competitors for it, and this is a really solid setup, especially if you're already running off of an Aputure range series that you can link through the app. It just kind of makes sense. So I'd say if you're an experienced freelancer or maybe a production company that's looking for a new cob light, this is a really solid option, especially for the price point. It's worth noting that we don't have any affiliation with Aputure, so this is just our opinions, but I think you can look at other reviews and they'll all kind of say the same. If you want to see more reviews like this or more insights into what sort of kit we use here at Manto, then be sure to let us know in the comments below and subscribe. See you in the next one.